I did the thing I'm not supposed to do. Should be good.
All right, as we now have a quorum, we have waited here for travels to happen. We will open the meeting at 7:03 in our standard method, which is Pledge of Allegiance.
Wow, I think you called that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call on board members. Myself, I'm Dave Hemingway, Chair.
Normandy Glade.
And Marlo is not currently here. She should be here momentarily. Announcements. Do we have any specific announcements from town?
No, not from us.
All right.
Yeah.
Then the announcement that I will make is, as there is little attendance here, that's actually somewhat expected. There is one of the meetings talking about the small schools study, and of course that involves the Webster school that is going on this evening as well. So you may want to go check that out. In theory, that may actually start being recorded. I believe they're working on a deal towards that, so this might be the first meeting that you can see after it's live for them. All right, that will move us on to old business. First of which is the Walker Pond Lot legal update, which is really short. The select board is in discussions with our legal counsel and intends to follow legal counsel's advice, whatever that may be. Welcome.
Well, sorry everybody.
We're sorry that you.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry to have pulled you here.
Well, here I am.
But
Woohoo!
welcome.
I wish that was more than water.
Yeah,
No.
I hope there's something good in there.
Right.
All right, so that moves us on to our second bit of new business, which is public hearing for map 10 lot 158, which the board has second and third pieces of paper that you're going to see. And for the sake of it, you can have those. They're just into your packet, but. And so these are the documents from the signed document from the planning board, and then also what we got from the Conservation Commission regarding them, as we were required to request their input. And while the board looks at that, I'll go ahead and open the public portion of the public hearing at 7:07. So if there's any public that wishes to discuss this matter or say anything in particular about the lots, please, now is the time. All right. Seeing none, I will close the public. Oh,
Wait, one question.
yes, please.
I got a notice from a friend saying there's gonna be another meeting after this one. Is that true, or is this gonna be finalized tonight?
It was an issue with the way that the public hearing schedule was set up initially, because the Conservation Commission did not have their meeting in the previous month, and we are required to have had their requested input before doing the public hearing process. So this is actually the first public hearing of the two required. So yes, the next meeting will also have a public hearing, and then it can be done.
August, it won't count that.
Correct.
Which was open and closed in 3 minutes.
Yeah. But that's what we're doing here, so.
It has to be within 14 days of each other.
Yeah, they must be within 14 days, and we must have had the input from the board and commission. So now we have gotten that, so we can move on as we had thought we were going to be able to. Are there any other public comments or questions on it? All right. Seeing none, then at 7:08, we'll close the public comment portion of the public hearing. Just wanted to make sure that you folks saw that. We, of course, aren't making any specific decisions on anything here. And so that takes care of that one. There it is. All right, so next up is the town properties. And to talk about that, I believe Dana has a whole bunch to let us know.
We had put out a bid spec for 18 Mount Vernon Terrace. I had showed it, I believe, to 7 people, and I have 5 bids. So,
And can you just pull the mic a little closer?
oh, I'm sorry, maybe I should turn it on. Okay.
Oh, is it not on?
Yeah.
That'll help.
Would that help?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. We had put this bid out for the bid opening today, and this is for tax map 10, lot 1, sublot 107 at 18 Mount Vernon Terrace. It's in the Pillsbury Lake Village District. It is a .91 acre lot improved by a raised ranch home built circa 1965. The minimum bid for this property, we were asking $65,000, which would include deed preparation and the recording costs except for the L-chip fee, which is the buyer's responsibility. I have showed it to 7 different parties, and I have 5 bids, I believe. 4 and 5.
Yes.
Before you open, I went by there today, 2 windows were half open.
I know.
All right, I just
Yeah.
wanna,
I opened those because it is dreadful inside.
let you know.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know if the board wanted to keep track of the bids,
That's what I was writing down.
and
Thank you.
I'm short a line, but I'm sure we can figure that out. Do you want me to open them, Dave, or? do you
Unless
want-
the board objects, I would appreciate that, yes.
Okay,
Run away, Dana.
okay. I feel so important.
That's right.
Don't let it go to your head.
Yeah. Okay, the first bid that I've sliced in half. We have a bid from Tom Thorne, 67 Stacy Drive in Hopkinton. Mr. Thorne is bidding $96,000.
What's that last name spelled?
Bye.
Thorne.
Oh, Thorne, okay.
Thorne.
All right, okay.
See if I can rip this one out. We have a bid from Savannah Derby, 440 Battle Street, Webster, $66,060. 66060.
That's where Michelle was.
We have a bid from Wes Rose, 100 Chase Farm Road, Hopkinton. The bid is $105,129, 105,129. We have a bid from Ed Lawrence, 402 Claremont Road, Charlestown, New Hampshire, $81,001, 81001. We have a bid from Brett Rickenbach. I don't have his address. Must be a big bid.
I don't know why that's what.
Gracious.
Professional.
I'm a mess.
It's a packet of bids.
I think he gave me each your own copy and his picture.
Wow. Heavens.
His bid is $70,150, and he is at 56 Constant Street, Bedford, New Hampshire, 03110.
Does that conclude all of the,
And that's the bids, yes.
all right. To clarify, the amount we were asking was based on back taxes, lost revenue, and administrative costs, and upgrades that the town had done, for example, cleaning. And this was taken by tax deed when?
It was taken in 2018,
18, okay.
fall of 2018.
Any questions from the board, or? All right. Does anybody on the board see any reason to not accept the largest bid?
No, I don't.
All right, I would make a motion that we accept the largest bid of $105,129 from Wes Rose.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The town thanks you for your patronage.
Now, I have one question. Are we gonna, I would assume that these will be in the paper, eventually.
You mean
And
as
the
far as
selectmen's
the deed, or selectmen's notes?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay. So everybody knows, everybody who bid, and it's up and up.
Usually what I will do tomorrow, I will send a bid result sheet to everyone who's bid.
Okay, but I think the townspeople should know too. That's why I just want it in my newspaper, under a selectmen's, the meeting.
I will speak to Russ and see if he remembers to include it.
He will. Thanks.
He will, yeah.
All right, and I believe you have more for us.
I do. This is a bid for the fire damage repair at 9 Pennacook Circle. I kind of wish there was a window there I could open, because that's really bad.
Oh, at the house.
We have 3 bids on that one. And this expense would be covered by the insurance, so it also had to be blessed by the insurance company. I have a bid from Integrated Drywall and Construction in Hill. They have two options here. I'm trying to see what the difference is. I guess provide all labor, equipment, and appurtenances to complete project. But leave wood flooring, remove carpet, and no work in basement, just deodorize it. $26,850.23 is option 1.
26,800.
$850.850.23. Option 2 is same as above, but clean and minimal cabinet repair and clean is $22,996.16. 22,996.16. And the next bid is from Ed Lawrence. And I believe it's the same Ed Lawrence that, what was it, 402 Claremont Road, Charlestown, New Hampshire. He proposes to remove all the garbage from the deck, clear the garbage within 10 feet of the house, remove garbage and appliances in kitchen and living room, wash all surfaces in kitchen and living room, paint the walls and ceilings with a sealant paint in kitchen and living room, paint walls and ceilings with a neutral color in kitchen and living room, and additional work can be quoted and added if needed, but for what he has noted, $10,000 even.
So to clarify, for the fire damage, he's only cleaning and painting.
Yes. Which is basically what we asked for. We did, and to get rid of the kitchen appliances, but we're not buying new appliances.
He's having troubles today. I don't know.
I know.
What have you been doing?
I don't know, I can't even open an envelope. This bid is from Target New England Historical Restorations. They are P.O. Box 136, Alton Bay, New Hampshire. Proposal for repair of town-owned property at 9 Pennacook Circle, Webster. Clean out and clean up interior of building, which includes all personal items and damaged items in the kitchen. Abate the black soot from fire on the kitchen walls and ceiling. Clean the kitchen floor. Prime and paint walls and ceiling in kitchen. Repair any damaged kitchen cabinets and clean the bathrooms. $23,760.
That's an expensive bathroom cleaning.
I would do that for that, but, and that's the end of the bids for that.
Okay. So can you briefly talk about the differences again between the two bids from Integrated Drywall?
Let me look at that again. The first option, what he says is provide all labor, equipment, and appurtenances to complete project. But leave wood flooring, remove carpet, and no work in basement, just deodorize it. Option 2 is the same as above, but clean and minimal cabinet repair and clean.
So he does nothing with painting like you asked?
I don't see any painting, I don't really see anything done in he doesn't, well, he's minimal cabinet repair. The kitchen cabinets probably can be saved, they're cleaned.
So the second one is with the minimal cabinet repair is the lower cost.
Yes, it
That's
is.
what that's.
Yeah, so I think he's actually not stating, but expecting to do a lot more work. Unfortunately, we don't have that in writing.
No.
So I would assume, being a drywall company, he'd probably take all the drywall out of there and put new. No, don't assume anything, because that makes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, my mother has that saying.
I would think if you've got a, you're submitting a bill, you would have a little more detail.
Yeah,
What
there's
did it say?
a lot of money
What
there
if
on
our
said
request
things.
for bids say, was it very specific, or just let them go the way they wanna go?
Hold on 1 minute and I'll tell you.
Please.
solicit bids for repair of town-owned property at 9 Kennecook Circle in Webster. The town is preparing to put this property out to bid. It was damaged by fire in March. It is desired to make this property habitable. The work includes cleanup of the interior of the property and rebuilding the kitchen. The work does not include replacement of appliances.
Oh, rebuilding the kitchen though, it says. So,
So the 10K guy was only paint, not any rebuilding.
right.
Yeah, cleaning and, yeah, some cleaning and painting.
You know, I might suggest to the board that you take these under advisement and let me get some more details.
Absolutely.
Before you make
Yeah,
a
'cause
decision.
Like anything, there's nothing close to apples to any of these three
You
bids.
know, I mean, I'd like to say
I mean,
my
yes.
bid spec was, I mean, it was, I didn't really know what I was asking for either, so,
Okay,
you know.
all right, yeah.
I would suggest as well, when you reach out to them beforehand, also ask, and you may have already done this, at least in part, but ask the insurance company for guidance on what we need to include in there for them to approve any of the specific bidders.
I have had a lot of conversation with the insurance, but I will go over these bids with them.
Because a lot of
and
times
let
when
them know.
an adjuster comes in, they give you a list of what they'll accept or won't
I do
accept,
have,
correct?
and each bidder got the
That
copy
list.
of what the adjuster
Oh.
did, said.
And they're this far
So-
apart?
So when we relook at this, I'd like to see that, to be able
Of
to
course,
even,
yeah.
because, yeah, this is,
Yeah.
these are,
I mean, this is a very unusual
I
situation.
mean,
because
I don't know
this
if
is-
Ed didn't read the same thing as the other two people, or,
well,
you know,
everybody
sometimes
is
when you
very
do,
different,
when you
but-
do a bid too, you're not gonna sit there and explain every little thing if there was, what the insurance was. They could
To be
explain
fair,
more.
if the, and not having remembered it from my brief look, if you're talking about fire damage, but it's the surface got singed by smoke,
Right,
the ceiling paint would probably be enough.
right.
If it's actual structure damage or it burned the paper facing of the sheetrock, then that's where you need to replace it.
Replace it, or the
So-
cabinets have,
Right.
you know, damage
So-
that can't be painted over, because that doesn't always work.
I don't,
either.
I don't remember what it's like, but of course the insurance adjustment sheet would tell us that.
Right.
And I'll bring that, sorry, I don't have that.
No,
but
that's
I'll
okay.
give that
I was
to
just
you.
thinking, I didn't know
But I did
that,
provide each of them with that.
but that's interesting too, because,
Yeah.
yeah, the, how you say it is a little bit, but,
It's hard to know.
well, but
Right.
if they got a list of what, yeah, I'm just, yeah, it wouldn't have surprised it's so different.
Yeah.
But I would think the insurance company is not gonna give us much leeway. They're gonna do what they want, won't they? I mean, I don't know about insurance.
Well, I would think they'd have to approve it,
Yeah,
you know,
I think once we
or they're only gonna give you so
decide
much.
on something,
Right.
we accept it contingent upon insurance
Oh, okay.
approval.
Absolutely.
I do know what the so much is, but I didn't mention that in the bid,
Well, that was good.
yeah.
And
But-
since we haven't accepted it yet and there's talks, we will save that for
Okay.
when that comes. All right.
Put that aside.
Do you have further town property bidding, deeding information?
I have, the other thing that I have is, I was asked about, we have that lot that we spoke of last time, that was a lot in Pillsbury Lake, and we were gonna get more information on that now that you've given us permission to release the bid. I have another one that someone asked me about today, which is yet another lot in Pillsbury Lake. The abutter is interested in it. I told her that I would ask you if you approved selling it. It's on New London Drive, and there are 4 abutters.
So we have that's in our,
No, this just came in today.
no, I mean, do we own that property now?
Oh, yes.
Oh, we own
Yeah,
it, okay.
yeah.
We took it for taxes or something?
We did in 2019.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry, 2018, 8/29 of 18.
do all of the abutters have houses on the properties at this point?
Yes.
Okay. So they are living there, so it'll be much better for them. All right. Do we have any further information that might be interesting or that we should be considering when we're looking at the property?
I don't really know anything more on the property, other than it was taken and the taxes owed were $760, and I haven't figured out what we've lost since then. It's only valued at $9,900.
So would we have to go before the conservation committee or anything on that?
Not in this
No,
case,
not
because it was a tax deeded property, which does not require that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's only required if the town accepts the property as a
Okay.
gift.
Is it, okay, okay.
Mhm. All right. Any other questions? All right. I guess since we don't have an official amount or anything, do we still make a motion to open a bid, or?
I think what I was
makes more
asking
sense
for you to do
have
is
you
just
pull
to
the
give me the
information?
go-ahead to bring it to you at the next meeting with the amount.
Yeah. I think
Maybe
that
I'm
makes
thinking
sense.
Yes,
higher than
absolutely.
it is, but that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
All right, perfect.
And that's all I have in that category.
When should we expect to see here an update and recommendation on the properties that we have just recently deeded?
Both of those properties are quite unusual in how the ownership has gone. We are not aware of who is the next of kin or who might have an interest in the property. We have to do our due diligence in finding them, and I'm going to, the attorney is going to have his paralegal do a search. The tax collector has done a search, but I think the town needs to do a more in-depth search to try and locate any relatives, and if not, I'll need his advice on how to proceed for the 90-day notice. Maybe I need to put an ad in the paper, or something of general circulation or something like that. I'm
All
not
right.
sure. I have had interest by an abutter that would like to buy it, and I've explained to them how the process works, although I'm not sure they've done it. They sent me 2 emails with the same information, but again, that has to be, if you choose to do the bid process, it's still the 90 days
Mhm.
once the, whoever might have an interest in this property is notified.
All right, thank you very much. All right. And I guess just the last thing then for town properties, since we're talking about these and sales, we are roughly, I'm gonna guess about 2/3 of the way through for the White Plains property?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, as far as the period of waiting, yeah, the redemption period, they call it.
so in about another month, we should see something on that then. All right. Any other further town property information?
Yeah.
All right, moving on, our next old business is the 2020 audit.
I gave you last time the draft audit and the letter from the auditor. I wrote a letter, I have not sent the letter, this is the letter I'm going to ask, if the board approves it and can sign it, they'll send to the auditors to finalize the audit. There are suggestions for the town to act on. If you like, I can go through those.
I think that makes sense
Okay.
for the sake of the public.
They have suggested that the town adopt a policy for IT security, backup and change in management. And I have spoken with our IT company who has provided us samples of policies, which I would be bringing to you when you're adopting policies to adopt and review and adopt. Employee pay rate approvals. They mentioned to me that they would like to see all employee pay rates changes approved by the board and have a document in the file that would be signed by the board. I made a document that was a standard document that we will use in the future, and we're on the go forward.
Weren't we already doing that though?
It was being, oh, sorry.
We've been doing approvals, but that's usually just been motions, not a document that we sign.
Oh, okay.
It's harder for them to go searching through minutes as a.
Yeah, well, true, and we don't
as
wanna
a-
pay them to do that either. do we?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Here's the
something you
document.
haven't not really been doing, but this is
Gotcha,
just
it's
to
just-
formalize.
Yeah,
Segregation of duties for cash receipts. Because of the small staff, it's difficult to segregate duties sometimes. I am going to sit down with Wendy and see how we can, basically they're suggesting that I enter the receipts in a log. Wendy would post the receipts to the general ledger, and then I would see that the money get deposited at the bank. I'm not convinced that's gonna work really well yet, so, I'm working on that.
they want more steps in a sense.
They would
When
like
if
more,
you-
they would like more people involved, and I understand. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
naturally,
yeah,
you
but
know,
still,
you
yeah.
want as much, but, we have a limited number of people. Revenue budget, last year, the revenues given to the DRA, did not agree with the general ledger, which, was curious, and so this year it will. This year's revenues were done by myself and Wendy, based on historical known data available. There was also $33,000 mentioned as a revenue in an account that we don't have, and it should have been included in another category. Fund reporting in the general ledger. We have several funds within the general fund, which including Old Home Day and the impact fees, and each of them needs to be reflected separately in the general ledger, which we will do. In the general fund reconciliations,
Excuse me, with the general ledger, since you're mentioning Old Home Day, how does that also, or does that also account for the way that we have been doing the trust funds? Because our stuff would not necessarily go through the general ledger when we're requesting the check come directly from the trustees of trust funds.
that's right, this does not affect trust funds
Okay.
at all. General fund reconciliations, the finance coordinator will review the bank reconciliations done by the treasurer and will work with the treasurer to clear outstanding items. And basically what those items are is we had several checks that had not cleared the bank that have just been carried forward, and weren't cleared. So we either need to void them, reissue them, or do something with them. The Old Home Day account, the way that the town, I guess, it was done by the treasurer in order to assist with the Old Home Day accounts, and of course, all the expenses need to be paid almost immediately when people ask for checks. It really should not work that way. It really should come to the select board, and like we do with the other manifests. And I guess we need to discuss what methods we can use to make it proper. Library policies need to be updated, and the trustees have done so. There were several subjects that had been noted in previous audits, and 2020, they were not resolved, which I understand.
A note on the library policies, I know that that actually came up last year as well. And when I discussed it with the folks at the library, they had actually done the work to reaffirm their policies, that had just not been reflected in the new date on the website at the time that the auditors were looking at it.
Right.
So I guess we just need to make sure that all of the work that they've actually been doing, which I think is all of the work they need to, is accurately reflected on the website and for the auditors in the future.
Yeah, the auditors just didn't get the word that the job had been done.
Yeah. All right.
Do you handle their website?
Um,
We don't handle the library website, so I'll speak with them about that.
I will also note that going back to the key town policies, which was the first one, we do have some of this policy in effect. This is just for the sake of everybody knowing. We do have some of these policies partially in effect. For example, some use policies and similar are in the personnel policy, but there's not a specific IT or security or similar policy. And so that's part of our overall goal as a board when we're going through the policy review, not just to reaffirm everything that's there, but to make sure that things are appropriately segmented and easy to understand and find. My only comment on that is unless it has to state that it's the next 2 months, we might want a little more time because we have a lot of policies to review.
Okay.
I hope we do it that fast, but I don't want
I
to
can
promise that.
change that. Would you be willing to sign the letter with the caveat that I'll change that? 'Cause I'd like to get the audit finalized.
What do you have to do about, you were talking about the whole Old Home Day account. What,
I have no idea what we can do. I need to talk with the auditors on exactly what they want.
but by us signing it, we're just pretty much agreeing to what they're saying, of course, right?
Well,
I
I've
can-
run Old Home Day and on the committee for 17 years, past. I don't know why usually you plan ahead, and so you know the band is coming or whatever, so you would tell ahead of time. So this is what kind of makes me think, why do they, right away you have to have a check? Usually you'll be months ahead. So I don't know what they're doing now, but that's what we used to do. You knew you were gonna get games for the kids, you're gonna get prizes, you did that, way ahead of time. And then band or whatever you're gonna do, it was way ahead of time. So I don't think, I think
I
they just
only
need to
know
be
what I
told
was
that they have to
told.
do that.
About Old Home Day, but at one point, the Old Home Day committee had the checkbook, and they had a treasurer within the
Yeah,
Old
we
Home
did that,
Day
we did that
committee.
too.
And apparently it was changed because they didn't want to manage the money, or there was some question whether the money was being managed properly.
But the thing I'm thinking is, it should be months in advance of Old Home Day. That's in August. You should have something by June. You should know what you're doing by June. If you plan it right, that's.
Well, I think that,
But I had a
it
really
would
great
be-
committee too, and they were great.
I think it would be, and I think the Old Home Day Committee does a fine job. I'm
Yeah,
not
they do.
saying this about anything about the committee, but I think it's just that, they need to understand how it works when you submit a bill.
Well,
And that it could take up to 2 weeks, for example, to get approved and have a check released.
Trying to think of reasons that they might not.
And the other, I'm sorry, Dave, but I wanted to add, the other issue with Old Home Day is that in addition to the money that the town funds for Old Home Day, people give money, and, which is not town money.
That's actually what I was just gonna go to, is I thought they accepted donations, and so they may not know, for example, like, they may know that they've got the band coming in, but they may not know how much they're taking from the town's portion to pay the band,
See, I don't remember
or
ever taking
whatever.
donations from the town.
So,
It was in the
But
budget, there's
they-
so much money, and you worked that, but I don't ever remember taking donations from anybody, so maybe that's a big, difference. And I was the first one that started the fireworks thing. I think we did get donations for the fireworks from a few businesses in town. But other than that, I don't know where the donations are, it might be nice that all these people are donating for Old Home Day, that's nice.
I mean, there's also the, kind of like the fire department does, where they've got the outside group that is the nonprofit. So for example, with all the chicken dinners and stuff, they can accept
Yeah.
donations. They could always have a Old Home Day organization that then is not part of the town and not part of the town's finances.
Well, the
But
big,
that would require that they actually always have an organization and all the appropriate, 501 documents, et cetera. So they probably don't want to go through the hassle, but if they really believe that they need to have the full flexibility of immediately right now, that would be an avenue that they could take to be able to do that.
well, I know that at one time, nobody wanted to spend money on Old Home Day. So that's why we started giving free, some people wanted this, there were things, well, why don't we sell things? And, oh, no, we can't sell things at Old Home Day, every other town does. But anyway, so that's when we decided, okay, we're not selling, we're giving it away. We're giving it, taking it out of the budget, we're giving soda or juice, whatever.
Kind of like
we're doing.
even when the ice cream would come in, or the different things, or the bands would come play, that was all, they all donated their time for that.
No, they got
No.
paid, the bands got
Okay,
paid.
okay.
Yeah, but the ice cream, I mean, people did donate things, but I had like 20 people in the committee too, so. But we did punch, and we had a group that made hot dogs. We bought them from Old Home Day.
Yeah.
Money. And then so we never took any donations, because we didn't need to. And then, of course, the chicken barbecue was always done by the church, so we had nothing to do with that at all, which is good. So we just did the park, or if it's rain, luckily we never had much rain, but we'd do something in the town hall.
And all they're worried about is there's some money that comes from the town for the Old Home Day.
That is what they're concerned about. That money is
And more or less,
approved by you.
and more or less, they can't just run in and see Wendy on Tuesday, because they found some guy to do something on Old
Right,
Home
they
Day.
gotta plan ahead.
Yeah.
Right, plan ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you on that,
Mhm.
D.
Yep, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, kill it, I just was wondering.
All right, so do you all feel that with the one change about the policy timing that we can sign this?
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
So we can sign that and get the
Yeah,
change.
well, that's fine, this one.
Well, he has a nice color
I
copy for
figured,
us.
I know, yeah, right. I'm over here signing, filling in my work.
You're not at work.
That's right.
This is
Yeah,
good,
fine.
this is happy time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you're laughing.
Sure. Absolutely.
Thank you.
We'll fight each other.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything further to go over for the audit?
No.
All right.
Unless you had any questions.
I do not. However, this is a topic that I think is ripe for, do we have any public comment or question that we can maybe clarify? Yes.
There was some conversation about the audit and an additional, I think it was $2,500 to re-audit the treasury books, et cetera.
Yes.
Yes.
For all the money that gets spent, sometimes not so prudently. I wonder if it wouldn't be wise for our soon-to-be full-time, not just interim treasurer, but to absolutely start with a clean slate, with no possible question or finger pointing or, geez, I didn't remember that. You know, wouldn't it be worth it just for the safety, not just for the town, but for the treasurer as well?
So to go back and remind everybody, this was a request that we got from the now resigned treasurer to make sure that everything was up to snuff and be audited. Was that 25 or was that 35?
No, it's 25.
2,500. And that was at a previous meeting, and we had discussed it and decided that since everything that is requested for that is also covered under the normal town audit that we already pay for, that there was no point in doing it additionally to find out the information a few months earlier. Anybody else on the board want to make another comment or follow up on
Boy,
that?
you got a good memory, because once you said that, I'm like, that's right. I mean, we would want everybody to start fresh, but you're right, there's no point in doing it twice, in a sense.
Yeah, I
A
think if
good
it,
point, though.
yeah, I think if it wasn't already going to be done, I think we probably would have considered it further. But it would be a duplication of work by the same firm, so they'd be charging us for the same thing again in a few more months.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
All right, moving on. The next old business is the White Plains Bridge project.
White Plains Bridge.
Dana, that is you.
That is me. And
Go.
Dana's getting a workout tonight.
My goal was to have the application go to DES. That has not happened. There was a meeting with DES that was attended by the engineer, Aaron Darrow, myself, and a few representatives from DES. I've given you the notes from the meeting that was done by DES. And they suggested a few changes to the plan, which is going to require more approval from Mr. Borak and redrawing the plans and redoing the application.
And she wanted us to order the culvert?
Yeah, right.
So
Wow.
that, and here we go. Now I've lost it, I'm so flustered. I was asked
Heartache,
when
headache.
the board was going to pay the bill.
Huh.
I asked for the engineer, I said, you need to come into the board. I was told that she could not come tonight. I
Told that
said,
every night, come on.
yeah, I've heard that.
I know.
I asked if she could come October 4th, and she said, yes, she could. And I thought, well, but I got an email late this afternoon saying that she could not come October 4th, and that we needed to pay our bill,
Really?
and that it's way overdue. Now, this is the bill that I said, we have not seen a bill from you.
Right, I was gonna ask you. That's what I remember you
and
saying.
She does say that she has sent a bill to the former town administrator back in 2020.
Really?
So what it- so did-
However, I would have thought if you hadn't been paid, you would have inquired about it.
Well, and furthermore, where did it go?
You know,
Did somebody eat it in the office?
I must have been.
Yeah,
It was
hungry,
a
something.
Hungry day. The latest bill that she gave me, which was today, is $14,605.65.
Oh, we don't have that though, right?
You don't, because I just got it.
Oh,
The bills that you are showing
Boy.
are the ones that we had. The 24, 25 on a September 2019 bill that was paid by the trustees in September of 2019.
So she's billing us for, she's saying that there's past due balances. She doesn't even know that she got a check for it already.
She does because I told her.
Doesn't write it down though.
And Ray gave me a copy of the canceled check.
Dana? I feel it's time. I feel it's time.
Just one question. Any luck finding her contract?
And what'd you say?
Her contract.
Find it or sign it?
No, finding it.
So that's a
Oh.
very good question.
That's a good
And I will
question.
let,
You'll let
Dana
me,
fill us in.
you'll let me answer that? There is no
Are
contract.
you ready?
So how can you, the contract should be null and void because there's no meeting of the minds.
It's null and void because it doesn't exist.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's an agreement, oral contract per se with the.
I mean, we have nothing that shows, I mean, I'm at the end of my patience, but we have nothing to show what the rate is, we have nothing to show.
Yeah, we didn't even
what's
know what
done.
we were gonna be paying an hour.
yeah, we did not necessarily agree to any specific rate or anything that she's billing us.
We may find that we're on the hook for some of this money.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you what legal part will be. I feel that I would like to see this project completed. It's been, Mrs. Jones told me that it was started when she was the administrative assistant. She retired 6 years ago. So,
My son's an architect in Boston, and he said there's a statute of limitations. You should really get right on it, because she just can't keep going, and she never shows up, and that ticks me off. If she's so worried about this money, then get over here and explain it to us. Why do we, that really, but anyway, but my son does make $160 an hour, because I asked, but he's in Boston, so this is Webster.
I think she has a statute of limitations of 1 year.
What was that?
1 year.
1 year, I mean, this is, 5
Thanks,
years, this
but-
is ridiculous.
So I would like to suggest that the board approve Dana to discuss this situation in full with legal counsel and what our most appropriate options would be. I know it has been briefly mentioned to town council before, but I think it's now that time, since stuff is still not happening, and it's even in the best, I really hope people do the right thing frame of mind that I was trying to hope could happen. There is no chance that this can be done this year at this point.
Or next year,
So,
probably, or the year after.
Hold tight, though.
so my suggestion then is that possible alternative options or alternative engineers or engineering firms would certainly not be the reason for us having a project delayed beyond what could have happened this year. So I would like to suggest and ask the board to allow Dana to go to legal counsel about that. And I did, before even finding out about the cancellation and yet another bill that we're not seeing, I did actually ask Dana to reach out to VHB, who are already doing our engineering work for Clothespin Bridge, just to ask, A, if they have bandwidth for being able to handle a project like this, and if it would be something they would be interested in. And so we would, of course, have a process of finding and deciding on a new engineer, whether that's through a bid process or the name escapes me, but where we post and allow people to submit. It's not quite the same thing.
Well, like we just did with a little fire
Well,
damage.
Well, that's a bid process, but
Yeah.
there's a similar one to
Quotes.
that.
Quotes for them.
And then there's, of course, quotes. So obviously, we've done that. I believe Dana said that you've already reached out to them.
I
What did
have.
they say?
I have, and of course, they couldn't give me particulars, they would like to see the project. Do they have bandwidth? Yes, they do.
What's bandwidth mean?
Time to do it.
Time to do it, yeah.
Oh.
But obviously, they need to see it, and this is not, in my opinion, and I'm not an engineer, and I apologize, it's not a huge project. We're not talking about the Zagan Bridge here.
This is
Yeah,
not-
yeah,
You know.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
So what you're saying is, well, I got your, what we want to, or you're suggesting that we agree upon. Would that also lead into the fact that just get a couple more firms to decide what their time frame would be and get right on it, you know what I mean?
I
You know.
would like to suggest that, if I speak to am allowed to speak to legal counsel about this, to find out what our options are, and what he might suggest, and what our liability is for this, and is the work that's been done on this, will it then belong to us?
That's a good.
Well, you
So
mean
that-
once we pay, if we have to pay
Whatever
for
it takes
Yeah.
to, I'm just thinking.
But
if
do we
had
even really
some-
want her work?
Well,
I only say that because this is, I didn't read through it all yet, sorry.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things that you're paying for that she didn't seem to done correctly. Or no?
I understand.
Okay, so I'm
I
not-
think I'm coming from maybe the angle that if we have to pay for something,
Mhm.
we should have something.
Okay, perfect, fair enough.
Well, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and
For
this
that,
is,
too.
that's kind of the writing on the wall that she couldn't even,
And I guess the additional question is in other various policies that do not apply here. But in other policies, we have, for example, that as the town will go after financial problems that have arisen because of things. This is obviously degrading further. We've had it closed. The school buses haven't been going over it, so they've had additional and longer routes. People in town have had to be driving their students back and forth. So please make sure that you mention things of this nature to legal and see if there is any recourse for the town and its residents based on the incredible 6-year delay.
and the cost to people.
That's disgusting. And she can't even come to a meeting. I don't think I've seen her at a meeting ever.
Was there ever, there was never.
She was at a public hearing once.
Once, like how many years ago? That was when I was young. I was a
I
kid.
wasn't on the board.
Neither was I.
When she was hired, is there minutes of when she was hired?
I honestly have not looked.
Is that a good
at
question
it,
in a
but
sense?
I would be
In
glad
a
to
sense,
see
because
what I
I'd like
can
to
find.
see, yeah, because that would be something that might be in writing. And then that way,
Mhm.
we know what the board agreed to what she agreed to,
Mhm.
which could give you a better case, or
That's great.
maybe not.
Yeah,
But we
Good
should look.
thinking.
I will go back to the 1890 minutes and look.
I'm sorry. Are they sealed or are they unsealed?
Sorry, it's bedtime.
Okay, yeah,
Well, we
I
can
can't
always
believe
review them and adjust that as necessary.
that's right. Yeah.
I just-
mhm.
But I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I mean, I think that,
Well, I was trying to think anybody does anything, you're making a deal, or like you're pointing out, there's time limits and all that kind of stuff. But when you hire anybody to do anything, the handshake days have been gone for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, but fortunately maybe in our case, because she might not have a right to her delays.
some
And he made a good
towns
point.
have engineers, and some towns, I'm not sure if this is the case in this case, but some towns might have an engineer they use for everything. And I know this person started with another project that,
Gotcha.
so.
And that took a long time too. Can't remember the name of the road down there by Pillsbury Lake.
Oh, the one I was thinking of, she started the Clothespin Bridge Road.
Who did?
She
Bridge.
started the Clothespin Bridge project
Oh.
and
Then Bash and
was
Hollow.
Yeah.
then replaced by VHB.
She started the, how did that happen?
We'll have to look at
I'm
the
living
minutes.
it. Yeah, I guess so. Jeez.
This is-
Without wanting to state anything defamatory,
Right.
based on what I've heard, I think it would be more appropriate that we read through minutes of when that changed.
Okay, yep, good.
So funny. That's funny.
All right.
That's right.
Any further comments or questions
No,
from
I
the
think
board
we,
on
I
this?
think we know what we're doing on that.
Yes, we know.
Which-
We're all in agreement.
Which there's the part of you sometimes when the rope's been,
This is not how we wanted to do this.
no,
No.
but let's move, but if you don't move on
But
eventually.
sometimes you got to.
That's right.
Yeah, right,
That's right.
exactly.
Yes.
All right. That brings us to the impact fee accounts.
And that is the approval for the school, the Webster Elementary School, for the total impact fee that they have requested in their letter of September 2nd for $44,635.39. That was to bring the school in compliance so that it can be, the emergency shelter could be used for the town of Webster. There are available monies in the school impact fees.
And to assist everybody in this, well, I was at the public hearing. I don't believe I was on the board yet. This is, I believe, half of the cost of the total upgrade. Half was to be done by the school so that they would have a backup generator and be able to continue school even in the event of power failures, etc. And the other half was from the town for impact fees to then also turn it into our official emergency shelter location.
And if you read through the bills that they attached, you'll see that's the case.
Yep, it's still that.
Now, with this, only because I wasn't part of any of this, this was all probably bidded out too, right?
That was managed by the school.
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm sure they have a
Managed by the
policy
school,
that-
but then we pay for half.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I believe we had agreed to, when this happened, it was, oh yeah, here we go. A copy of the memo from the former town administrator pledging up to $44,900 of impact fees towards the project, which enabled the Webster Elementary School to become the town of Webster's emergency shelter. That meeting was held on October 21st, 2019. And the total amount that they are requesting is less at the $44,635.39. We have, as part of our new business, which is the next item, an updated set of agreements with them, which is the memorandums of understanding for the facility use and for the emergency purpose, which is, of course, our emergency shelter.
Is that just for the town of Webster, or is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Just for the town of Webster.
And so the reason I bring this up is because, of course, there's the whole small school study thing that's been going on. And while I am hopeful and expectant that the right thing will happen and we will continue to have our school,
Kind of like we did with the engineer.
that is, of course, not the situation that you put yourself legally in by spending a lot of money and then not being able to use it.
Right.
So part of the reason that I bring all of this up, has long-standingly been what was thought to be a memorandum of understanding. For example, they mow the lawns, we plow the driveways, that sort of thing. Apparently, that was an email and a handshake. So It hasn't actually been an official document. And so we had Fred Regan, who, I think I've got that name right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who is the facilities person for the school district. He went and talked with management of the schools and made sure that A, they knew, and B, that the school was going to be on board with all of this. Took the the previous email, turned it into something official as a memorandum of understanding for us, and ran it by the school saying that, yes, the school would be signing this, and was happy to sign this. The reason I bring that up is because whether or not it remains an open school to teach children, if they still own the facility and there is a legally binding memorandum of understanding signed by both the school district and the town to make that our official emergency shelter, it must still remain intact and maintained for us to be able to use it as an emergency shelter, which would then mean that the funds would not be wasted even if it was no longer capable of being a school. So that's why I bring up the next topic at the same time as this request for the impact fee usage. I see nothing wrong with their request for the impact fees or the amounts. This is the kind of thing that specifically the education portion or the school portion of the impact fees is designed for. And I don't want to try and mix two agenda items at once, but I would suggest that we approve this pending or contingent upon full signatures of both parties on a memorandum of understanding, including the school as the emergency shelter.
Yeah.
So, any further comment or question by the board first on that?
Well, I'd say that's a good reason to keep that Webster school open.
Well,
Well, there's lots of good reasons
Yeah.
for that, but.
Well, I know, but I mean, that's one that they will understand.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah, they're gonna have to maintain it and keep it open anyway at that point, so.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
an interesting way to put it, yeah.
So, with that, I guess I will open for just the impact fee portion for public comment or questions on this. All right, seeing none. Does the board like that idea?
yes,
Yes.
All right.
that's why you're in the middle seat.
So
That's a very good
I
point.
would move that we pay the school their requested impact fee for the portion of the generator install of $44,635.39 out of the appropriate impact fee funds, contingent upon a fully signed and executed memorandum of understanding for it becoming the Webster Emergency Shelter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so that moves us on to the memorandum itself, which we have draft copies of apparently.
You have two.
Is it in here?
Yes,
It's
it
in
is.
here, yeah.
Two.
Oh, yeah,
One
yeah. I knew I saw
The
it.
emergency shelter and the other, the plowing, mowing.
Yeah, yeah,
Field
okay,
use.
yeah, I see that. I knew I saw it in here.
I believe you've already had legal look at these?
Yes, he has looked at it. The original memorandum for the emergency shelter did not mention that it was at the Webster Elementary School, and he felt that it should, so we have changed that.
Is that the only change that was made?
Yes. Is the second paragraph. The Merrimack Valley School District, year and after the district hereby acknowledges and agrees that the Webster Elementary School shall serve as an emergency shelter, and in making this acknowledgement, the district agrees with the following. Originally, it said, in place of Webster Elementary School, it said Merrimack Valley School District.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean it's even in town. So that is a very important change.
Mm.
And because of that, it did change as he, in various ones, making sure that it was clear that it was the elementary school.
So now the district hasn't signed this yet.
They have not. I have spoken to the district regarding the change.
McLean?
No, I spoke with Fred Reagan.
Oh, Fred?
Yeah.
He's a good friend.
I would suggest that as we have contacts listed, they of course have administrators and custodial. We have primary and secondary, which are certainly appropriate in our emergency coordinator and our fire chief. That we should also include for administration, our generic, our town administrator,
Okay.
because that would be probably a easiest and best point of first contact
Right.
most
I
of the
agree.
time. I mean, obviously, you know, if the building's on fire, that's different, but
So for the primary contact, myself, and town administrator?
well, so theirs don't list primary and secondary, they say administrators and custodial.
Mhm.
And I think rather than primary and secondary, I think we should list administrative, which would be you and or the position, and then we should have emergency management and fire chief. It might even make sense to include the police chief. So we have 4 contacts. Any of those people should be able to either get a hold of the appropriate people or make the appropriate decision, depending on what the
I'll
case is
retype
that the
that
school
page.
requests.
So you're gonna do fire chief, police chief,
Emergency manager
and emergency, town administrator,
and town
okay.
administrator.
And you're gonna, Walensky's gonna be,
He's the emergency manager.
Okay.
I think it's technically the emergency management director,
It
but I
is,
don't remember
yeah.
the exact position, unless that's it.
That is it.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else in here that we necessarily need to change, and this is only the emergency portion. This is not the other for like mowing, et cetera. Is there anything that you've seen in similar agreements that we should be considering or requesting to add? I know it's gone through legal, but I don't, did we ask him if it was appropriate and everything we needed, or did we basically say, is this an okay thing to agree to?
It's the latter is what I asked him. I really didn't ask if there was something that should be added.
But he didn't
Okay.
have any suggestions.
But he didn't.
And he would
He
suggest, I
didn't-
think.
I would think he would.
Yeah.
That he would say, we should really
All right.
consider this or that.
So basically, Merrimack Valley wrote this up.
They wrote it
Yeah,
up.
wrote, okay.
Fred brought it in to me, I sent it over to John Radigan.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, so-
So barring the additional contacts to be listed, rather than primary and secondary, any other suggestions from the board?
No, that sounds good.
All right, do we have any comments or questions from public? All right. Should we make a motion, or do we just sign the updated copy once you have the new names on it?
Well, you can sign, it. This is just a supplemental, and I'll just type a new one for the supplemental. I
Okay.
would like a motion, so it's in the minutes,
Mhm.
and, it looks like they've only put one signature for the town of Webster, so if you could include in the motion who would be signing for the town, whether it's the chair, most likely.
Sure, sure away.
All right, we can do that. So, well, if I'm gonna sign it, you can make the motion.
I'll make the motion to accept it.
Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
David, you could sign the town of Webster, part, please. That would be you.
They want the guy with the worst writing.
Of course, we'll write it so they kind of read it.
You haven't seen mine, have you?
Oh, my God. Now, when you're famous, nobody will even know
what?
who you are.
I'm gonna just so it's legible, I'm going to allow Dana to fill out the printed title and
Oh, good,
such.
good.
You have a missing gene that's fantastic? Is that your writing? Is that what we're gonna find?
I'm sure we know what that says.
Yeah, the missing gene of being able to write.
Yeah.
This-
Watch out on
This is
on
what
a
happens
computer.
to us younger folks that have just typed all the time.
That's right.
That's true.
That is true.
That is not the Palmer method.
No.
That's-
But I do type a lot and very fast. All right,
You
so
probably
that
know how
moves
to,
us
you don't do
on
this, do
to the, no.
Yeah.
I did that for a long time, but.
No, we learned
So
how
that
to
moves
type.
us to the second of the MOUs, which is the plowing, mowing, and field use.
Oh, I thought that's what that wasn't.
And it's the,
Oh, the second, okay. I
Yeah.
think I'm missing that other one. But that's okay, I read through that. Okay, go for it.
let's see,
That's what it was.
two Webster selectmen, from Mark McLean, Superintendent of Schools, memorandum of understanding, plowing, mowing, and field use. Secondary committees of the, yeah. So, standard province communications, talk with each other and the town administrator. Parking is fine and normal. Don't utilize opposite parking areas during normal business during normal operating hours. But fine otherwise, for events and such. Just trying to summarize for everybody, so they've got a quick version of it.
Do we get a notification from the school when they're having soccer games and all that at the,
I've never seen one.
oh, because, well, it just says here, so the town, it says, during weekends, during the months of September through June, the town will have priority use unless there's a scheduled school event. Well, if you don't know when the scheduled school event is, I mean, not that we would use it, that's
Mhm.
just kind of interesting. We should have some
I
kind
could follow up with that, but I've never
Yeah.
They've never sent anything over to me unless
Yeah.
they've never had an event, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know.
But is soccer actually the school? I thought that was a separate
Not,
entity.
not this age, it
The
is,
little
it's
kids.
the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have their own little,
Yeah.
whatever you call it.
Yeah,
Rec
regular-
team.
Yeah,
Rec
yeah,
team.
there is, yeah, Salisbury and Webster, I think
Where,
together.
yeah, so no,
Yeah.
no, like, middle school or high school, I don't think
Right.
ever uses the field, it's just for the rec.
No, yeah, it's for the little kids.
But good question, Dee.
Well, since I spent 30 years on the school board,
Yeah, like, huh?
so, I just, it's just, I mean, we should kind of know when they, in a way, it'd be nice if they told the town that they're gonna have, they used to have crazy things at school, like potluck suppers for the kids to meet everybody, and the parents and stuff. So that takes parking like everywhere. So this town should almost be notified that, okay, we're gonna do this on a certain day, so, we would kind of expect all those cars, because there's lots of them.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's, it has to be in this or,
Well, that's probably a conversation I can have with the principal.
Yeah.
Say, and we'll do the same if it goes the other way.
Mhm.
Not sure what that would be, but, if there is something.
So to continue, that's of course the different uses, which are generically, we get to use it whatever we want to during the summer for priority use. They get to use it during the school year for priority use for things like the fields. Maintenance and repair, they do the mowing and maintain the fields and the lawn. But then we repair stuff on the fields as needed, except for the outfield fence. And we both assist each other with this. The town does snow plowing and sanding for the parking lot and driveways. They are responsible for their own sidewalks, walkways, play areas, etc. Yeah, the others, that's just normal. Oh yes, the septic system, because part of our septic lines from town hall actually run over under the road and through their land to get to our field. And then just a general, whenever possible, the parties will offer assistance to the other in order to ensure that the problem and or situation is immediately addressed. So, fairly generic, covering the long-standing known agreement and actually signing it so that it's official. Any other questions or comments on sections?
no.
Any questions or comments from the public? All right. Does this one have all three signatures?
Yes. it
Yes,
does.
All right.
I would love to see my signature.
I don't know why they're different, but sure.
That's what I was, when you said that at first, I was.
Well, I would move that we accept this MOU as our legal counsel has already gone over and approved.
Second.
Aye,
All in favor?
Aye.
sorry. I before you.
Aye,
Aye, Captain, that's what I.
aye. And he's got the paper for us to sign. Okay, chair. Well, I saw chairperson, I'm like, wait a minute, but that was chairperson of the school board that was
Oh.
next to it. So
Oh.
I'm like, okay, I didn't sign in the wrong place.
Good thing.
All right, so that moves us on to correspondence.
We received correspondence today from DOT regarding the 10-year plan, and the Governor's Council on Intermodal Transportation has a series of public hearings set up if we'd like to attend, and I guess we would want to think about what we would suggest ought to be done on state highways in Webster. If we had any bridges that needed to be replaced, roads to be widened, things like that.
Okay. Do they have, in their schedule, do they have, is it done by town, by section, by
It's done by
type of road?
Um,
Or I should say type of
It's
road.
not done by type of road. We're in District 2.
Which is Franklin, I think.
We, the towns, there are several towns, Warner's one of them too.
Is
in
it?
the
Well, I think the
same
group
district.
comes from Franklin, I mean, the
Oh,
plow guys.
the plow, yeah, we
come
have
from
two.
Franklin.
We have two.
Oh, we do,
but they
yeah, because it
come-
ends up right here at
Yeah,
the, yeah,
and
so we're
they-
so lucky. So,
But this is with the governor's council to give input. The closest to us on Monday the 18th at 7 PM, which is a select board meeting, so that might not be a good one. There's one in Franklin. Or Tuesday the 19th, they have one in Concord at 7 PM. And they have others as well, but I don't know if you want to drive to Keene or
Yeah, no, I
Somersworth or Claremont Savings Bank
So what they're asking is, do we have any input on,
in their 10-year plan.
yeah,
And we may not, I mean,
that's why I was asking.
several things in their plan, and I'll get you a copy of the plan, because things that I think you'd think should go on are already on.
Yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
so that
So it's
would
not
be-
like we're gonna go over there and say, we need, if it was a state-owned bridge, Clothespin Bridge, or
No, no.
White Plains.
No, they're not very-
Yeah, they don't give a,
Basically, we're
which I know
talking-
that, but I'm just saying, when I
Yeah.
think of 127, I can't think of something that I think, oh my God, this is,
Yeah.
Well, they redid that,
well, right, they
20 years
both,
ago, they
Too
did.
bad that's not on the the state maintained part of the road.
yeah, right, well, either project would be nice.
I mean, you might ask for a commuter lane to get the traffic flowing.
Yeah.
Or
Well, because
something
when they
like that.
blink, and they can't see, no,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
The
don't
only-
see, I
the
don't
only
see a
thing I would
reason.
like to see is, I'd like to see them, I don't know how they would do it, but Long Street and 127, I think is a very dangerous intersection.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Give him stars.
But, and I don't know what they can do, but it just,
Yeah, we have a couple where there's either a very steep hill or a very sharp corner that intersect with other roads that we have, and it's definitely interesting that we haven't had more accidents than we have,
Don't say
yeah.
that.
so.
But well, you're right about Long Street too, that house right on where it used to be Ruth Stebbins' house, the trees, it's hard to see if you're coming up Long Street to take a right or
I'm
a.
having a brain cramp, where are we?
Where the
It's-
old Stebbins
it-
store used to be, where the old Webster
Yeah.
store.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
up top
yeah,
on 27.
right, where if you're gonna turn
If
to
you're gonna
the,
go to,
to
Boston and that.
yeah, yeah, that's a little, that can be a little,
Right. It's, every time I come out of there, I just kind of put the windows down and listen to people. and-
Yeah.
And hope I don't hear anything.
yeah.
Instead
Because
of gas fast.
Because what you worry about is them coming around that corner fast, they're flying up over the hill right there.
Right. Of course, I have to admit, it's because I nearly rear-ended someone one day coming around the corner.
Oh,
Probably,
geez.
probably going a mile
Thank
over
you.
the speed limit.
So, yeah, right.
Or two.
All right,
We have one more piece of correspondence.
And
One more
Russ
correspondence.
would like to.
Do you have any, I think we have another one?
I'm
Other-
done.
You're done?
He's done
Okay.
with that part of his folders.
All right. I have also received correspondence.
Oh, geez,
Well, he gets to turn his mic on.
So I also received correspondence from Karen King. She's been doing several events for the church, such as funerals out of the hall, and was asking when the town would replace or get the second refrigerator for the kitchen. And I'm kind of looking for some input on how much the board would like to spend on this refrigerator, so I can start looking into potential options to put forward.
So there's one refrigerator down there and she'd like
Right.
another one?
But the agreement, I think in 2019, was that the church would replace the stoves and the town would replace the fridge.
do they have to be
And-
commercial refrigerators?
That was their hope, is to get a commercial fridge.
I believe the original agreement was for a commercial fridge with a glass door so that they could see in it without having to
Opening it up, yeah.
However, we have agreed to delay it for a little bit because the cost of refrigerators due to the pandemic had gone through the roof.
Right.
But now, since the hall's use is starting to pick up, she was just wondering if we could do it sooner rather than later.
So could we look at pricing both ways? I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world if they can't see through it. I'm assuming that would be
Yeah.
a lot more money.
Yeah, I
but-
talked to her about that today, and she would be in favor of getting a non-see-through one.
Yeah.
Now, where would you go? We would check different stores.
Yeah, I would check restaurant supply stores, try to find ones that have used or refurbished, or try to find something that's.
Okay.
price.
How much more is a resident, like a residential compared to a commercial? Do you have any clue?
So I would say residential is probably 800 to
To
1,000.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how big you're gonna get.
1,600 to 2,300, depending on what you wanted to get.
Okay.
You
So
know,
it's not like,
oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
well, I was just wondering how much more, what a commercial one was compared to. I've never looked at commercial.
I never have either, but I just was wondering, you have?
Apparently.
Yeah, I used to be a chef, so yeah.
I was
Oh,
just
see?
wondering, I get, Barron's in Concord, I mean, I don't know if they can do commercial or not too, but, they gave me a really good deal on, I just got a stove.
Write it down.
But they're right there on, I don't know, Loudon
You're
Road.
on Loudon Road.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
by Walmart there.
And they were, and maybe they give us a deal just to get their foot in the door too.
Sounds good. So what's the price range we're looking for?
I guess my question would be, what do we actually take the spending out of? Because we have, of course, budget and different trust funds, but where would that actually fall?
I was just wondering that myself.
Aha.
Not great minds think alike. I didn't wonder that. I figured you guys already knew where the money was coming from.
At the moment, we really don't have, I guess we probably could take it out of the town hall trust fund. Maybe I hate to do that. We don't have the money in the budget, this year's budget for it. We might have to put it in next year's budget. And I suggest maybe Russ comes up with a couple different options
Oh, yeah.
that he could give to you. Commercial, maybe a price, and a regular, another one.
What is so different between a commercial and a regular, I mean, there's some refrigerators, they're $3,000, $4,000. So I'm just wondering, what's the difference between it? Is it, the temperature can't be any different?
Storage capacity, space, the way it's
Okay,
laid
so
out.
that's the biggest thing is
Yeah.
the size.
And generally, it's only a refrigerator, it doesn't have the small
freezer,
freezer
yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
too.
Oh,
And that, of course, along with capacity, has then better compressors and stuff for
Yeah,
the,
okay.
they're designed to be able to handle the constant opening
Yeah,
and closing
okay.
without
that's the reason we
breaking
don't
down.
need the glass.
But maybe the glass would be good, they wouldn't have to open the
Well,
door.
I know, then we could go, no, it's
Yeah, so it sounds like that would come out of town hall maintenance. I'm just trying to brainstorm, is there anything else that could come out of? Not, I think we're pretty much out of them, but
Yeah.
I don't think that would fall under an appropriate impact thing, even though it's an upgrade.
I don't think so, and I don't have a lot of balance in there. I mean, I have some, but I mean, it's not a lot.
I think we'll probably drain most of that, well, any that we
Right.
can for the paving.
I don't know, I mean, we may have areas of budget that we could, use that money from. As far as the bottom line, I think we're in good shape, but certainly the town hall maintenance is, I believe we only have $400 or $500 left,
All right.
unless we do the refrigerator easy budget payment plan.
Well, then, not that we would want to do it that way, but as long as the overall budget is okay, a single line overdrawn isn't.
Yeah, I have no question about the overall budget is in good shape.
Okay. So I think we should look at how much we've got in the trust fund and if we can do that, but at the same time, rather than trying to give a specific dollar limit, I think the most appropriate way is to start by saying, get us a couple prices on what you think is the most appropriate. And then we can go from there. Any other thoughts?
So now let's first we figure out what range what they're talking about. We're sitting here.
Mhm.
The only thing I would, maybe but this is because, there's Karen, and a lot of the church does things here when somebody passes or whatever, which is usually town people. I guess I wonder why it couldn't come from the impact fees, except maybe we don't have enough money in there. But you see where I'm saying, I would think when you move into town and you have to pay a $5,000 impact fee, correct? You'd wanna see some of that money. That might make you feel better about where the money goes.
So only a small portion of that goes towards the town hall,
Yeah,
because of course the impact fees are broken up and the majority of it goes to the school, just
Oh.
like our taxes. Not quite as bad though for the percentages. And some goes to the public safety building and some to town hall and
that makes
and so
sense. I
on.
didn't know it went to the school. Yeah.
And we have been using the impact fees for town hall. For
Yeah.
example, the new LED
Yeah.
lights.
Yeah.
And at least the original plan was to use what we could of that towards the paving as well. Maybe that will change depending on what prices are for everything, but
We've done a lot this year.
yeah.
Are we getting this paid this year?
Hopefully. We did we had to replace the water pump, that came out of trust funds. We also did the hood upgrade for the
Right.
stoves. I think we've got a lot of good stuff done.
And-
Perfect.
And, speaking of town hall maintenance, sorry, I'll go down that in a second.
There's a second half of the letter.
Oh, okay.
Please.
What I would
Continue
take
on.
from is that there's another part of the letter that I discussed with Dana, and we feel that it should be handled in a non-public session under reputation. So I'll bring that up later.
Okay, thank you. So then I will continue down that path.
Couldn't you have made it longer?
For town hall maintenance, of course, the stairs have been painted up front
Oh.
here. They've been repaired and painted. There was a couple comments that I heard at the public hearing that the planning board held after the fact, that there should be some form of traction there for
Non-slip
the
us.
winter, for
Yeah.
non-slip. And I believe we actually had said that we wanted to do that when
Mhm.
we were looking at the stairs for maintenance.
We did.
But that's not there. So what is the best way for us to look into or get that taken care of or find out if there's still more to be done or whatever?
You could ask me to do it.
Perfect. Sorry, it just came to my mind right now, so I'm sorry I didn't ask you about it sooner.
While we're on the town hall maintenance,
I have talked to Brenda about the back stairs and the landing out there. She feels it's safe. I think the stairs are in good shape. I'm not so convinced on the landing. Yes, it doesn't, you can walk on it and you don't go through, but I think we should have that looked at. And I can talk to her about getting some, whatever it is, grit on the front steps. We also have a problem with the railings in front of the library and the railings coming up the handicap ramp. I've had some of the rotted railings replaced, but I need someone to come back and fix the wrought iron railing in front of the library, and I'd like to do that. If I do that, I will overdraw the operating account by $200. We we have an estimate of $700 for that, plus the railing,
Okay, so for the whole thing.
rebate, yeah. And because of the amount, I didn't see alternative bids or quotes or.
Well, you don't want somebody to get hurt, or we'll be we'll be in a lot more trouble.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Well, I would never want to overdraw anything, as long as we keep our overall section of the budget in check. I think that's a reasonable line item to overdraw by a couple $100. Just,
I mean, I guess my thought was, it is a safety issue and
Right.
should be addressed, and it's kind of hard to explain to someone if they get hurt that, oh, because we didn't have money in that line.
yeah.
My
we didn't do it,
$200.
You know,
Absolutely.
but, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to overdraw these accounts, but
mhm.
the bottom line is still fine.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, thank you all.
Do we need a motion or anything on that, or no?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
All right. I don't have any further correspondence. Does anybody else?
Not me.
All right, that moves us on to public comment. Of course, we do that all the time, but
What's that?
The request for the land, the water rights.
all right.
Dave had me send it to you.
No public comment?
So,
Well, we've been taking it the whole time.
Well, that's
so-
true.
So you wanted to do
You know, I got excited when Dana mentioned that intersection
I just wanted to make sure.
there.
Mhm.
Long Street, you mean, long on 127, yeah?
I was, not to make it personal, or even for you and your cruiser, but I was leaving the food pantry the first part of this month. I was coming around the corner, looked, took off, and then, boom, right, I mean, I almost got wiped out. I mean, it was close, and it wasn't quite dark yet, so there were no headlights to really see. There was a kid, came around that bend right before Cowdrey's, so fast, and then he got mad at me because I was there. Well,
He peeped at you, didn't he?
I was a little freaked out. He was on my bumper all the way down the road, and I signaled to turn into the safety building, and then he went around me and stayed beside me just to be threatening, which is
Yeah.
not a smart thing to do. And
Especially not in front of the safety building.
it's like, you know, yeah, well, that's just one little faction that could happen to somebody, but, he wouldn't leave. He stayed right on me. I was actually kind of thinking about not going right home, because I didn't want him
Yeah.
following me down my road. So he finally went away. I'm like, you know, how do you go to tell somebody, you guys really need to trim those, not weed hedges or whatever they are, or cut a section, and you can't really cut somebody's yard away, but I don't know what can be done, but I'm really glad Dana mentioned that, because that's huge.
That's always bad. That lilac bush is really bad.
Ugh. Even Bill used to say, go around, and when I leave the food pantry from now on, I'm gonna go down, I'll take a right and go down to the Mellon Company and turn around down there. We're plenty wide to see, but I'm not gonna take that left again.
That's a good, I don't know how, because the state owns so much feet on the road, right? I mean, on the property, so they could do it, I suppose. Might not make those people very happy, but.
They could take it.
You know, if they just got rid of the shrubs.
Yeah, right, cut them down so you can see, right, exactly. So, and the other thing, for the police, I noticed Bosco's got the little,
Sign.
sign, yes, tells you how fast you're going. Are we doing that in Webster soon?
It's happening.
Oh, it's happening already?
I saw it today. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You went for the high score, didn't you?
I went it 25 years ago, but not anymore.
Right now, it's down by Roby Road.
Okay, oh, good, okay.
Awesome.
My Cloverdale.
I want, yes, that'll keep him quiet for a while, thank you. So,
All right.
But we can move it around a little bit, right?
Yep, we'll
Yeah.
have it there for a short time, then we'll move it.
Yeah, that might be not a bad idea.
What is our agreement for how much time we have it
That
versus
right.
them, et cetera?
We run it until somebody requests it. So
Perfect,
if they don't request it, we got it for a long time.
Okay.
oh, okay, that's good.
yeah.
We also have something else that we should ask you. we have been asked by a resident to research a legislative action from 1871. And so I am asking the board if they would like me to send that agreement or that documentation to the attorney. So
Do-
he can give us an opinion on it, whether if what it says is what
Do we have the actual document at
Yes.
this
we
point?
have, we do
Okay.
now, yeah.
What is it about?
The 1871 water rights for the town.
What was that?
The 1871 water rights for the town of Webster.
Water rights to
There-
what?
There was a
Concord
legislative
owns,
act.
supposedly Concord owns the water rights in Webster, so that if ever they want water, they can take it from us.
I thought that was, I'm trying to think, I thought that was null and void or something.
Supposedly, and I'm going off of what I have heard from people rather than what I've researched, but supposedly that was also the case for Boscawen and I think one other, and they have had theirs removed, but Webster has not done so.
And who requested this? Are we allowed to ask that?
Kim Fortune,
Okay.
and she's spoken about it here.
Yeah,
And
that's
what-
right, you did.
Yeah.
What is just that we shouldn't,
I believe her concern is the town's water rights.
yeah, doesn't want Concord walking in here and
And
Yeah.
taking water.
taking water, yeah, I
Yeah.
got you, okay.
Yeah.
I was just, I didn't know if she had another concern that was,
Well, and that, I think what makes it more prescient or pressing would be, of course, the whole concept of, we've had lots of droughts. And depending on who you talk to and what you believe, whether it's just things will be more extreme, whether things will be more droughty, but in all of those cases, if there were a serious issue to come up,
yeah. No, I,
even if it's just, there's a severe drought for, a summer, we want to be able to have our water.
yeah,
So,
we don't need, yeah, no,
Um,
okay, perfect.
my question or my request would be to do the basic, because when I have asked for this, I've not been, when I have been told about this and told that I would have a copy of it, it's never been provided as a current document. It's always, this is an existing older document. So I would like to request that you do a bare minimum of, can we find this someplace on, for example, Concord's existing sets of ordinances or laws?
Did this morning.
So we
You
do
did that
know
this
that it
morning?
is.
This morning.
Boy,
So
this
we
guy
do
is
know
so
that
far-
it is a
I
currently
wanted to
active
know. Yeah.
law. Okay, then yes. I would be in favor of asking legal what can and should
Yeah.
be done if the, all
Gotta
right.
Plan ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Nice job, Kim. Stuff you wouldn't really.
All right. So we've been kind of doing miscellaneous, or any further public comment or miscellaneous?
She's happy, she's
All right.
smiling.
That moves us over to select board motions and approvals. So of course, the first one is our draft meeting minutes from the last meeting, September 7th. They are, of course, fairly long, as that was a extremely short meeting.
Oops, what am I doing?
Have you all had a chance to look through this already, or no?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any suggestions for changes or questions or clarifications? All right.
You mean you didn't find any spelling errors or anything?
Well,
I'm tempted.
geez, Dee.
I have Michelle help me look over them now for
You
myself.
what?
Yes, I've been having Michelle take a second glance at
You
them.
cheat.
And there's already multiple eyes on it, so, my eyes
That's all
don't
right.
find as much. All right, I move that we accept the meeting minutes from September 7th, 2021 as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That moves us to our motions.
That's-
And, yeah, okay, that's.
Oh, we don't have a big list for you to read, Dave. Come on.
I know. I would like to request the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $6,892.50 for invoices 6532 in the amount of $3,802 and invoice 6533 in the amount of $3,090 payable to Police and Flower Farm for road construction for Concord Drive. These funds to be withdrawn from the Highways and Roads Capital Reserve Fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to request that the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $5,170 for invoices 6534 in the amount of $2,585 and invoice 6535 in the amount of $2,585 payable to Fleece and Flower Farm for road preservation on Pleasant Street and White Plains Roads at Lake Winnipocket. These funds to come from the Road Preservation Expendable Trust Fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then signing of documents, we've been doing that as we go for the most part, but I
Right.
believe we've still got some accounts payable.
These are the accounts payable and the payroll, and if, I was going to bring the bills up with me and I forgot to, so I can go get them if you'd like to see them.
You know what you're doing.
Well,
Thank you for
let's
coming.
get the list for you.
Thank you. You guys have been on fire tonight. Thank you.
Once we all showed up.
Sorry you had to wait.
Yes, I
Morris.
apologize, I do greatly.
I'm sorry you had to come, but I was out delivering gospel papers and said, oh my God, I gotta slug this.
I
Got the ones
totally-
to
So
actually
these are the,
sign if we're ready for
the
that.
invoices are listed there. I'm sorry I didn't bring it up, but I can go get it if you'd like.
It's right here anyway, isn't it? Yeah, it's right here.
Well, the
In our-
descriptions and
in
stuff,
our-
it's
yeah.
just not the
Oh,
actual.
oh, I
I
invoice.
didn't know if you
see.
want to see the actual
But
bill.
you know what you're doing.
Well, there are days, I wonder.
No. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Just because I see something listed as a bank card there, in the past, we had issues with interest. How has the plan for resolving that been going?
I think it's been going fairly well.
All right, that's good.
What was the problem with
Forgot that
interest
one.
meeting?
The turnaround time between
Oh,
when we
how
got
did
the
they do
bill
that?
and we get a
You
check
only
out.
signed one of
Oh,
the.
because
but you've got that
because
under
this was on the back.
Yeah.
I've worked with everyone with
Thanks.
a credit card to make sure they get it in fast. And it's not that they weren't getting it in fast, but just the cycles.
Yeah, not necessarily at the
She has a pen.
accurate 2-week cycle that would help us all. And, okay, that's the sign. All right, so that will conclude the signing of documents.
Which public do you want to do first, because we have two.
Yeah.
This one
is-
should be quick.
Okay, and would it be appropriate for the chief to be here for it?
Yeah,
Okay,
and that one's gonna be,
so that I would request that we go under non-public for reputation at 8:57.
That's
That's
the
RSA 91A3C.
I'll hit the thing.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.